Let me clarify. What is the name of the organization that is a signatory to the Protected Area Agreement?
The size of the area to SBSI was 353 hectares. So protected area community-based resource management agreement.
Protected area.
Opo. And that was given, if I may be allowed.
Klaro
Madam
mo lang,
Chair.
speak closer. Community, CBFM, no? Barma, what is Barma?
Community-based.
Management. Resource management. Protected area.
Barma. Iba pa yung Barma sa CBFM.
Yes. Opo. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what the alleged cult.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor. If I may be allowed, was granted on June 15, 2004. This is a 25-year agreement. On the same date, June 15, 2004, in the same vicinity, there were two other pakbarmas that were granted. And subsequent, prior to 2004, there was one granted to Osmeña Planters Association, which is in Dapa. However, Madam, those that were granted in the Socorro area, another bunch of pakbarmas granted in 2017. There were 4 more pakbarmas granted in Socorro. So, 2017.
A presidential decree in 2009. Anong year? 1996. 1996. Kaya it was a protected area already by virtue of presidential proclamation in 1996.
Let me clarify. What is the name of the organization that is a signatory to the Protected Area Agreement?
The size of the area to SBSI was 353 hectares.
For the first one?
The first one, SBSI.
Yeah.
The second one in the same Socorro area, samahan ng mga nagkakapit-bisig ng Socorro, also granted on the same date, June 15, 2004, is 370 hectares. The third one, Bukas Grande Farmers Association, also granted on June 15, 2004, 389 hectares.
Wow.
So, in 2017, Madam Chair, Your Honor, the Oro, different barangay, but in Socorro, the Oro Farmers Association, 404 hectares.
Kailan to na-declare na?
In June 14, 2017.
2008.
Nueva Estrella Producers Cooperative, June 14, 2017, 118 hectares. Sohotan Irayan Farmers Association, June 14, 2017, 431 hectares. And Tabok Socorro Farmers Association, granted June 14, 2017, 138 hectares. These were in Barangay Salog.
2017, apat.
Madam, yes.
Tatlo noong 2004.
Yes, Madam.
Okay, a total of 7.
7. And then the other areas were in other areas of...
Sign this.
Madam, we will have to do our research on that.
I think to be fair to Sec Loizaga, may we ask those who are who have been in DNR for a long time? I'm sure Attorney Leones, Attorney Te, Attorney Kuna would know this because we were working with you. I authored the INIPAS, which included the Siargao landscape. And then when Senator Villar became the chairman of environment, she sponsored it. Assigned someone to give us enlightenment on this. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you, Madam Chair, Your Honor. If I may ask Undersecretary Mark Fragada, Undersecretary for Mindanao Field Ops, to please respond.
Madam Chair, Your Honor, thank you. Ma'am, just a quick briefer about Pakbarma. No? Like the good senator mentioned earlier, it's like a CBFM area in forest land. It's a community-based forest management agreement. In a protected area, that is the CBFM, which is the Protected Area Community-Based Resource Management Agreement. And the main purpose of a Pakbarma, which is given inside a multiple-use zone in a protected area to tenured migrants, is to be able to create livelihood for these people who have been identified in the area 5 years before it's being proclaimed as protected. Yes, madam. So the whole intention of the
From Laguna that we ask them to leave. Because how can you live in a protected area? What will happen to the protected area? My God. Oh.
Madam Chair, you will be shocked to see that all our protected areas have populations living there, have businesses. I think you should, what you know we should do? Have a PowerPoint of each protected area, all the tenurial agreements entered into in the past decades, and show the informal settlers there is no virgin protected area. Punong-puno po ng tao, komunidad, negosyo at extraction. I am certain of that. If there is one protected area na walang ni isang taong nilalang, hindi po.
Madam Chair,
Kaya nga kaisa-isa po yan.
na meron din namang extreme model na kanino ko ba narinig ito? Yung Yellowstone model ng protected area. Kasi meron din namang mga protected area, and we'll learn from DENR ilan ba ito dito sa ating bansa, na kumbaga since time immemorial, halimbawa may mga katutubong Filipino doon, and hindi naman natin sila i-clear out doon kasi sila nga yung nakatira, nag-aalaga, nagsusustain nung later tinakda nung ating modernong gobyerno na protected area. Tulad nung, kaya siguro tinawag na Yellowstone yun kasi dun sa mga protected area sa US, itinaboy yung mga Native American kahit kanila talaga yung ancestral domain. So just that additional point. Madam Chair, Secretary would like to... Yes, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, Your Honor, if I may just respond to the 2 points. Kaya po in-establish ang Geospatial Database Office. The whole idea behind establishing a natural geospatial database is to actually have a baseline in terms of our different natural resources, including the protected areas that we are in fact mandated to manage, in order for us to see how the governance has matched the physical environment. So whatever tenurial instrument or any introduction of any agreement can be overlaid over the existing physical baseline. So ayun po ang rason kung bakit po present namin po the first project that we asked for an approval, maski po wala pang budget, with the President, which he approved immediately, was the creation of the National Natural Resource Geospatial Database, wherein we take the physical environment and we overlay the different governance instruments. So we can see po, for example, which areas have foreshore lease agreements and which have none. Which areas have ECCs that should have ECCs but they do not have. Similarly po, in terms of protected areas, we are looking at these areas to see whether the tenurial instruments and the current physical environment actually correspond. So, hindi po ito madaling trabaho, I would say, and that's why po we are trying to get, of course, the resources to do this. this will be coupled po by our existing ground-based personnel na nandun po sa area. So whenever we do the satellite-based analysis, we need ground truthing. And so ayon po ang ginagawa ngayon. Hindi po siya madali at if I may, 0.43% lang po kami ng budget ng buong budget.
Okay, we appreciate that, Madam Chair. Thank you, Secretary. But perhaps what the Chair and the members of the committee would like to see are the 114 protected areas, the whatever agreement with any group, the names, and the number of hectares. Yeah, yun lang muna. And, as I said, informal settlers known to DNR and any efforts being done. Ganun lang. And then a photo. Let's say,
You can take your you can ask your regional director to take pictures. We don't have to have a film, just a
yeah,
picture
a
of
photo, the name of the PA, legislated PA, and all those who have agreements in the respective PA, the kind of an agreement, and when is the expiry. And those with no agreements but are squatting,
Madam Chair.
so that we have an idea. Thank you.
Madam Chair, just an additional requirement to submission. Can you also include yung process and requirements, how one can apply and be granted, PAC, BARMA, or SAB? Thank you.
Pak Barma ba? It's the same as a CBFM? Different. Say it again. Use your mic, please.
Yes, Your Honor, Madam Chair. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, protected. It's inside within a protected area. But one of the initial requirements you actually need is one, you're a tenured migrant, meaning you have to been there 5 years, established 5 years before it was declared the protected area. So that's a very important qualification. Number 2, it undergo AMBI clearance before any PAC BARM is issued.
Pero for one to get 300 hectares, ano yung mga hinihingi yung requirements dun sa community for them to be awarded X number of hectares? Siguro
Yes.
you can submit that to the committee.
Yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor will provide you with process.
approve. Oo, para alam namin kung sino nag-a-approve para ma-warningan na sila na wag nagagawin to kasi problematic.
Madam
diba?
Chair, yung approval ho ba hindi umaabot sa secretary level?
Approval din.
Yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor. Usually po, mga regional executive directors, because like a CBFM,
So
they're
they
more...
can award 300 hectares, 400 hectares.
Opo, but we can provide, Madam Chair, Your Honor, the process flow, so it's fully understood how the PAC BARMA works or a CBFM works.
Madam Chair, siguro the Senate can look into it. Baka at a certain number of hectares, baka dapat secretary level na yung approving authority.
I will
Lalo
find
na
a
for
resolution.
protected area.
Okay, I'll find a solution to look into the status while we await the information requested by the chair, by the committee this week, and it's only Wednesday. I will also file a resolution just for the information of the body to look into formally the protected area status.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I may. Yes, apart from the size of the area being applied for, Madam Chair, if we may propose that the term of the agreement also be one of those criteria which would elevate it to the secretary level. So if it's 25 years renewable for another 25, Madam Chair, medyo mabigat po yung impact as of the...
It's only the regional director for 25 years and renewable for another 25 years?
If I may turn over to Sec. Jonas Leones, who will explain how it was delegated at a certain point po.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. From the original plan during the time of Secretary Simato up to the time of Secretary Simato, all 10-year instruments were signed by the Secretary. But during the time of Secretary Jim Sampulna, almost all 10-year instruments were delegated to the regional executive directors, except for a few, but most of them are signed by the